In 3, 2, 1. Three, two, one.
Hello.
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to today's Love Talk Show with me, Rafa.
And with me, Luke.
Hello and welcome to today's very special highlight show of the year. Now, it's been an eventful year here at Love Talk, and today we're going to take you back to revisit some of our favourite moments. Yeah, we've had the ups.
Our relationship is so much better now.
The downs.
I had married the wrong person.
And the downright weird.
I licked the cover of the yogurt.
So let's have a quick look at what we've been up to in the last year. So Luke and Rafa might seem like they have it sus now, but let's go back to one of their first episodes where we asked them to uncover a few truths about each other. Luke, if you're watching, you might want to cover your eyes.
Tell us briefly about Luke's past and growing up in Brazil.
He is the oldest child of a family of 2. It's him and his sister. His family are from my town.
Yeah.
But when he was born, they were in a different state. He was born there. I think after 1 year, they moved to São Paulo. So he considers himself from São Paulo in Brazil, and then he moved to my town.
Hi.
Hello, Luke. So we're going to be asking you a set of questions about Rafa.
He doesn't have a great memory to certain things.
Tell us briefly, very briefly, the story or the background of Rafa growing up back in Brazil.
Okay. She was born in the same town where my parents were born, of the state of Rio de Janeiro. And it was a very simple upbringing with her parents. I don't know much about her time back when she was a child.
Is she an only child or?
No.
Moving to his passions and hobbies outside of work.
He likes sports, basically, and he's very good at it. He can be quite competitive. He's into cars.
He's into cars, yes.
Like he understands cars and which car. I wouldn't be able to tell you because I'm
not into cars.
Not into cars. But yeah, he likes cars.
What is Rafa's last book that she read or movie she watched?
Last book she read?
Yeah.
Oh, dear me.
What would Luke do if he had 1 day left to live?
Helping people. Help somehow. He's not a fussy guy, so he doesn't need a lot,
Yeah.
For example, he likes soccer. I can tolerate it for 20 minutes maybe. When I sit by him as he's watching, he likes that. And even if he's not watching, he's just, let's say he's on his computer, he's working.
Yeah.
He likes that I'm there with him, If I can be doing my own thing, but if I'm sitting with him, he likes my company.
Oh. What's the one thing that no one knows about Luke? It's an interesting one.
It's a very interesting one.
Wow.
That was a deep question.
I'm in trouble now.
Yeah. So people who don't really know him think he's very serious, but he's very funny. He's very funny. He has a very good sense of humor.
Make sure she doesn't watch this.
Okay, we'll make sure.
She doesn't know.
Yes.
Well, she's gonna kill me about it. But sometimes
She'll be fine.
it's when she's really tired.
Yeah.
She snores a lot at night.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm in trouble now.
Oh dear. Rafa, we hope you got Luke a new memory for Christmas. So over the year, we've looked at many issues that both singles and couples face, and we've put together a few of our favourites from the show. Take a look at this.
The main sort of issue that we encountered was communication.
Both of us, we came from past relationships that didn't work. I would say mainly because of the role model that we didn't have. So as we didn't have that role model, the example for us, so we didn't have the expectation on being successful in our marriage, in our love life. And I got into a relationship that it didn't work. because we had different goals. She wanted something, I wanted something else. We liked each other, but it seems that it wasn't enough to cover the gaps.
Watching Grazi being outgoing and me not being as outgoing as she was, and watching the other man being outgoing as she was, I would think, hold on a sec, you gotta put yourself in your place. You know,
and
that was ridiculous.
When I introduced Nathan to my family, they really liked him. And I remember the times that he would come over, you know, they would really engage in conversations with my stepdad, with my mum. You know, they really, really liked him. But obviously, once we got engaged, then the story changed.
Yes, I had married the wrong person.
I was always like this is the boy, I'm gonna fight for him, but he never liked me.
So you're not so popular then?
Yeah, in the end, it was just popular for friends, really.
I reacted to a different way to certain things. She reacted to a different way to certain things. And those things just clashed. So then it made one feel as if one doesn't care, one's not listening, and the other thought, well, you know, I don't handle it in this way. I need to understand me, I need to do this, I need to do that.
Could you
That
paint?
was you.
My own Africa, I could go anywhere, come home anytime. But now I'm in a different place and in a different culture, and it was really tough for me.
Never loyal. Always cheating and manipulating the situation for me.
As I had another relationship as well. And for me at the beginning, the first thing that today I see that I was wrong because I was too young.
How old were you?
I was 15 at the time.
Okay.
If they don't hurt me, that means they don't love me.
We wanted to come to deciding certain things or getting out of certain issues. It was like, I wanted to know how we were going to solve the situation, but he would think, he's all up here, so he's thinking, oh, I'm going to do it like this way, but he's not voicing it. So for me, I wanted to know what he was thinking, and it was very hard because that's not how he deals with problems. He thinks about them, he's very logical, but for me, I wanted to talk about it, I wanted to understand how we're going to get through this.
He didn't want me, like, for example, to study, to do the things. He was controlling. Very controlling, yeah.
When people at work interview me, when they ask me about, oh, so you've been in a relationship for this long and you haven't actually slept with her and you haven't actually, they said, oh, you test the waters. I said, no. And they look at me.
You have what?
You haven't tested the waters.
So he didn't care and he didn't understand my point of view.
We kind of developed some relationship. And I thought he liked me back because we went out, hold hands together,
so
go
that
out
would
for
be
lunch.
The first one that something came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That you think, oh,
it's gonna work now.
This is the chance, isn't it? No. Eventually, I found out he just started treating me badly. A few months after, we were talking and going out, and eventually, I found out he was talking to me at the same time as other girls, and yeah, he just left me there.
How long being married? You moved out? 3 to 3.5 years. Things got really difficult.
Yeah.
You felt like moving out.
I had nowhere to go.
What do you mean first one?
There were other instances she kicked me out.
When you broke up, who broke?
Was me.
Was
because I
you?
started to learn the intelligent love.
So I said, you know what? I'm really going to fight for this. It's my marriage. I'm going to fight for it. I didn't say anything to anybody. I had decided come March, it was going to be 6 years, and I really wanted us to be together for the 6-year anniversary because we'd already spent 2 of it apart.
And I started to learn, no, the person that is going to be by your side is to help you to grow, to give strength for you to keep going with your life.
You change from within, everything around you change. Intelligent love.
When was the moment that you guys realized that, okay, this needs to stop?
When we finally understood that we are one and we have to have our own culture.
But what I wouldn't do is then notify her of what I'm thinking. So my head is going all over the place trying to think of a solution. And then she's sitting there thinking.
So your decisions were more here and less here?
Yes.
Yours were right here, and that obviously clashed because I believe you expected him to meet you halfway, and he wasn't, according to your views, corresponding.
About the other's relationship, what was wrong, what was our mistakes. So we were very clear with each other. So in the first conversation I said, oh, look, I don't want to commit a mistake. I had this relationship and this happened and I want this and that.
It's just a process then, because you spend so long seeing yourself in a way that it takes time for you to start learning to love yourself again.
I believe because we were very clear with one another, help us to...
It started off good.
We see a big difference here.
And I'm the kind of person I never really knew how to communicate. Like it's still a learning process. So for example, if something was to happen, my reaction is just to shut down and just not say anything. But he's completely different to me. So he forces me to communicate. And I think in any relationship, the most important thing is communicating, coming to a common ground and just working it through.
Usually you want to finish, so I must win this argument, you must lose. But being a peacemaker is, you're not thinking about winning as in, I'm going to be the last one to speak. You think about it backwards. So if I bring peace, we've won.
Here is the key to, to intelligent love. So you observe the signs. You're no longer anxious as before, because if you were, you would have ignored those signs and told yourself, this is it, I need another girlfriend. But this time, you were using a bit more of your reason rather than your emotions, right?
And it's interesting that when you are so eager, so needy for someone to love you, you usually go for the wrong choices because you're so desperate that it doesn't let you see, okay, I'm sure that if you had thought back then, you would have realized, this is not a good candidate.
This is really important for keeping both of us together, because he's a different person. And all the love that I have for him, all the respect that I have for him, it's something that I need to see through him. That's a person inside him, that he has a different behaviors, point of views, but he's still the same person that I respect every day, that I have in the mornings, that I know that if I have to count on you because I passed through something, sickness and some difficulties, this is the person going to be by my side.
We got married. There's always this adapting moment, but it wasn't hard, as we heard from other stories.
I really calmed down when it came to voicing, because I was crying all the time and everything, and I understand that it was hard for him as well as for me. And I had to come to terms with the fact that he was trying. And I really had to acknowledge that, even though I had to just, understand that he's not like me. He doesn't deal with things the same way that I do. And even though that this is really hard, he is trying.
So for me, communication is the key, which is what we've learned in Love Talk Live.
Then you had to make adjustments. Otherwise, you could have problems in the future. Those problems would repeat themselves and the relationship would become unbearable again. Okay?
Came back, we sat down and we spoke together that if this marriage is going to go on, then we must see each other as a team, and teams work together.
So what I did, I had to leave all this anxiety of having someone with me behind. Literally, I had to forget that it's a wish that I had, but I had to forget about it for a while and focus on myself. Just said,
there you go.
As Rafa said, if you love yourself, you won't go for the wrong type of people. Because you will attract people that see those qualities in you.
And it's nice because we've built an intimacy without the physical side of it. So it's the relationship is much on a deeper level than if you were to meet someone and then you sleep with them. And
so that means you don't need to go to bed to be intimate, right? You just need to know the person well. Like you said, he ticked all the boxes. Thankfully, they learned intelligent love and things changed. Then they apply those teachings to themselves, first work on themselves. And once it works for you, once you're doing well within yourself, once you are, you are the one who the other person expects to meet, and that person likewise achieves the same So that's it.
Gave him his own space, and I said, you know, where...
Did you allow him to cut the grass?
Yes!
Hello, our YouTube viewers. We are the presenters of the Love Talk Show.
I am Rafa.
And you know who I am, Luke. And we are here to encourage you to share this channel with your friends, your family members. Invite them to watch our shows, because you know our desire is to help couples and singles do better in their relationships or future relationships. So subscribe to this channel, share on your Facebook page, share the link with everyone you know, so that they can learn intelligent love.
Also, leave us our comments and your questions.
Welcome back to today's very special Love Talk Highlights show, where we're taking a trip down memory lane to look at our favourite moments from the past year. Now, the festive period can be a time of happiness and joy, but it can also be a time of reflection and of thinking not just about what we have, but also what we've lost. So it's important to reflect on the hard times as well as the good. And now we're going to look at the Easter special, where Luke and Rafa met one couple who managed to overcome a great tragedy in their lives.
This couple, Alan and Jackie Slough, they have been through some hard times in life, and they managed to stay together, to stick together, as they say, through thick and thin.
Yeah, we're very excited to meet them and see what they have to tell us about their experience in today's subject.
Yes, so let's go them and meet Jackie and Alan. Give us a little bit of how everything started, the beginning of the relationship, how you met each other, when.
We met over the farm gate, basically. I was into horses and Alan was into cows, but that sounds a bit... He was dairy farming. And I moved from 5 miles down the road from here, from home, to a job in Hertfordshire, which happened to be on the farm. So we met over the farm gate. And we had a bit of a whirlwind thing going, didn't we?
How was it after being together for a while, after marriage?
Well, we always planned to have children, and again, probably because of our sort of laid-back nature, we didn't have
I don't think we ever talked about it.
We didn't.
We never discussed children.
We never sort of said we want to be married for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years before we have children. We just kind of knew it would happen at some point, but we're not great planners. Need we say more?
I can see what's coming up.
You can see what's coming up. And after 2.5 years, James was born. And he was born in 1984.
So then came the birth of the second son, right?
There were no issues or problems, or we just kind of carried on muddling through like we
Always do.
And Tom's birth was slightly traumatic in that Alan's mum died the day before he was born. We didn't realise how poorly she was.
So how was it raising two boys? Because many couples, after the birth of children, the marriage changes, you know. Some say for the worst, they grow apart. How was it for you guys?
Easy. I would say they were easy boys. They were great boys. They were easy boys. I had to work part-time occasionally, in which case you kind of, we worked it so that you were with them all.
Yeah.
They were great boys.
So then came the loss of your second son, Tom, right?
Yeah.
And then how was it from there?
Yeah. Well, he was 16 and a half, and he'd, with his creative writing and everything else, he'd done what teenagers do. He'd sort of got a bit moody, stopped talking, listening to different music, not necessarily that we didn't approve of, but just sort of different music. And
I didn't approve.
You didn't?
No, it was.
We had quite a few arguments about it.
And it was just a time when we had no idea what Tom was planning, but on 30th of January in 2004, Tom committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie was working in the town, and I went down to pick her up at 5:30, as often did, and Tom picked that time specifically because nobody else was in the house, and he hanged himself on the door hook in his bedroom. Was he alone? And no, he had a group of 30 plus friends, you know, close friends,
really good friends,
really good friends, you know, and so all the, you know. Did he come from a broken marriage? And we talked about that today. No, he didn't come from a broken, you know, a home from a broken marriage. So
there was an element of bullying throughout his life.
Nothing major, but just enough maybe to.
Enough.
And also he died the year before Facebook was even invented.
Mm-hmm. After the bad news, after going through all that, the next few days, months, and years. So how did you guys deal with the whole situation?
It was tough.
I think we just cried all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. You know, again, we didn't really, you know, something like that. You don't need to talk about it almost, because you kind of know where you are, and I think we just cried and were just there for each other. I was driving 40-ton trucks at the time, and I just wasn't safe. And I went back to work for a short space of time, and I remember driving down the M6 when there was a lot of roadworks going on, and I was stuck in all these roadworks where it was all being expanded, and I had an absolute panic attack. I'd never had a panic attack before, and I was just about to jump out the cab and run across the carriageways, and I phoned a friend. You know, we're very blessed that we still have so many good friends that say, if you need anything, just ring. So I just rang this friend.
Mm-hmm.
And we just chatted, didn't do anything, only a brief call, but it was enough to stop me jumping out the truck and running across the, you know, so we were kind of dealing with different things at the same time, I think.
I didn't see who everybody else saw. I mean, he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is a really great guy, and I love him to bits.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't, at that point, I didn't see what other people saw. I just saw somebody that I hated. And again, we were working together, we were living together, but I hated him and he didn't. And it was all within me, all internal. It came to a head because we were at a church service and a guy was giving a testimony and his wife had just walked out and left him with 2 kids. And it was like somebody went, dong. And I thought, that's what I'm thinking of doing to Alan. And it was just, and I went out and I had a real great long talk with God and kind of, and I gave him 6 months. I said, look, you turn this around in 6 months. And he did.
So it's very easy to blame yourself or point fingers at somebody, especially in loss like that, you know. And we made a decision, and I think that's the difference. We actually made that conscious decision not to go down the blame route, not to say that I wish I could have, I should have, I ought to have, because those are all things that people say, and they don't change anything. You know, there's a time when there's an acceptance of what's happened, and I'm not quite sure when that time is, but once you've accepted that person is gone, and you still have the rest of your life, and that sounds a little bit harsh in many ways, but you know, you still have the rest of you have the rest of your life to live together as a married couple, or you know, as a whole family as well. But you can't be defined by what has happened. Doesn't mean to say you forget that person, doesn't mean to say that you love them any less, but it actually means that you can move on. And
you can clearly see that you guys have come a long way.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
It's
did
a
well.
lovely place.
Yeah. And also the relationship, the way you communicate, you see that you are different in regards to relationships, marriage, and also overcoming difficult times together. A final thought.
I think anybody that enters marriage, it's probably one of the most difficult things that they'll ever do. And you know, statistically, again, you know, it's the most challenging thing that they will ever do. But you know, you have to make conscious decisions not to become a statistic. There is compromise, there is give and take, and there is understanding, and there will be some really, really great, fantastic, happy times, and there'll be some really, really awful times. Not necessarily going through what we've gone through, because everybody's different. but at the same time, just walking away or leaving because you don't like that person anymore doesn't really solve anything. It really is you know, after 35 years, we're kind of still learning, still getting the hang of it really. So it's you know, 15 years for
We'll get there.
for babies like forward.
So what did you like about it?
Everything. You know, this is my perfect spot. Great place to just read, have some tea and read. Just being with you in a very peaceful, beautiful scenery. So it's
Especially with me.
especially with you. So today's show was awesome. Yeah.
In their story, as we know, I believe that many people familiarize themselves with the story. Not necessarily with the loss of a family member, perhaps that, but also, you know, enduring hardships together, not giving up.
I think when adversities like this happen to you, you always have two choices. You know, the most common one, even statistically, is couples will go through something like they did, they divorce. You give up. So you can either give up or you can say, you know, this terrible thing is happening or has happened, but I decide not to let my future be affected by something that
and
happens.
something that Alan even mentioned, which is very important, they made a conscious decision not to dwell in the past, not to blame anyone, because the more you try to find someone to blame, or you try to blame yourself, or you keep looking back, you know, you hurt yourself. So like keeping the wound open, and that doesn't help anybody. So that was a great lesson.
Yes, I really enjoyed today's show, and I know it has spoken to many people. You see 35 years of marriage becoming more rare and rare nowadays, and with such an amazing story. You see that the problem that they had, such a horrible thing that has happened in their family, brought them closer together. It, like you said, they got the bitter lemon and they made it a delicious lemon pie.
Yeah. So to those of you who are watching us right now, no matter what you're going through, the situations you're going through, especially couples, families, stick together. Listen to your spouse. Talk, right? Don't shut each other out. Be there. Be selfless, not selfish. Don't think about yourself only. Because if you think as they did, if you think about the other, it's going to be much easier not only to go over those moments, but also, as you said, to get the lemons that have been thrown at you and turn into a delicious lemon pie.
Do you know what intelligent love is? But you can find out on our site. It's lovetalkshow.tv. Many people, they struggle in love, in their relationships. They keep losing their hearts, their feelings, and everything always goes to waste. So if you want to learn to love intelligently, that's the place you should visit. lovetalkshow.tv. We also have our Facebook page, our Instagram page, Love Talk Show. So visit us.
I just agree with everything she said.
Welcome back to today's Love Talk special, where we're taking a moment to reflect on the past year. Maybe you're about to start off the new year as a singleton and wondering how to attract a new partner. Well, earlier this year, we asked men and women what they've really looked for in a significant other. So let's have a look at what the men had to say.
Today we want to know what men look for in a woman, and they're going to be helping us with the topic, right?
From my background, as you can see, I'm not a young man like these guys. But I've had experiences in the past. You know, as a young man, appearance obviously was the first thing you look for. But then when you go out, you could be on a date, and then suddenly you're no longer interested because, you know, it's just the appearance and there's nothing to it. The character is really important to me, and I see that as a package.
You want to be like cared for when you get home. You know, you don't want to be worried about other things. We go home, we just want to like lay down and somebody to just take care of us and say it's gonna be okay. You know.
I don't want another mother.
Okay.
Does it make sense? I had one who treated me in a certain way and with love, but you want some qualities that taking care of, like he said, you know, in her, but you don't want your wife to mother you. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a thin line there where you want someone to, like you put it, someone to be there for you, Absolutely. To care for you, but not necessarily, you know, mothering you. One of the things that used to put me off until today is women who are very loud. I don't know what you guys have to say about it, but you know, I couldn't and I can't stand.
I would say, just going back to the point of what a man wouldn't want in a woman, I would say a man wouldn't want a woman that has a mask on, in a sense, as in, you know, they're one thing in front of you, like when you're on a date, they're one thing, then as you go further down the line, you start to discover who she really is. So I think a man would want a woman to be very open. Not, of course, expose everything, but very open, very, very honest from the start, so that, you know, they don't get surprised later on down the line.
One of the reasons why men sometimes cannot express themselves well when talking about what kind of woman they're looking for or what they want to see in a woman is because they don't take time to understand women. In everything in life, there must be respect.
When your woman respects you, you feel as though confident. You want to go about your other tasks in life more confidently. But if she disrespects you, it touches your armor more than anything else. I've spoken to friends of mine that they felt disrespected. The whole day they were angry. They didn't know what to do. It seems as though it touches a nerve that's in us. Even if you're the most quiet guy, if you're most polite, someone disrespects you, especially a woman.
I think respect is very important because, you know, it's like you were saying before, it's coming from both sides. You know, if one respects this one, the other one, it will automatically flow. But if there's disrespect, especially from a man's point of view, in his mind it's over.
Yeah, I think men want to be respected, and if they can't get respect within their own household, you know, then it breaks their spirit and they feel less of a man in some sense.
We see that respect is paramount. Respect is vital. If you respect, you're not only looking superficially. You're looking much deeper, and that is essential for a relationship to work. So we'd like to thank you guys for coming. It was a
very
pleasure.
Insightful.
Okay? Very, very nice to have you here. Your comments were really appreciated. I believe it helped a lot of men out there.
Okay, not too hard. But what about the women? Let's see what they had to say.
What do women look for in a man? That's shameful.
That's the reaction.
Oh man, men shouldn't scratch their heads like that. They should know right off the bat.
But that's what the rumor goes, that women are very complicated. It's very hard to please us, but today we're going to find out if that's true.
We'll prove that wrong today. That theory is wrong, right?
Yeah.
We had our reporter interviewing few people and asking them what women look for in a man.
Yeah.
Right? So let's take a look.
What do you think women want in men?
Definitely someone who's got all their life together, you know, car, their own place, money, good career.
Money. I think they probably look for safety, maybe, in inverted commas. They want to feel safe around them. Again, they want to have trust, I think is also even more important maybe for a woman.
When you mean about safety, do you mean literally, or do you mean like secure and like...
Security maybe is probably a better word actually for it. They're looking for maybe security, but more maybe emotional kind of security.
Funny thing is that as he's talking, there's a woman walking away from him.
Very distracting.
Yeah.
To ask you, because this is a big thing, when you see that the first thing that men mention when asked is women look for money, you know, status, career. Do you agree with that? From a singles point of view, I think it's important, because without money is like blood. You also need it to survive. Everything cost of living is high, so you need money at the end of the day. If a man takes you out and he can't even pay for the meal.
You speak as someone who had that kind of experience before? Is that...
Because some women, they really tend to want security from a man. Because if he doesn't give that, then, yeah.
I think we should really clarify the thing about the money issue, because it always comes up, right? I agree with what they said. One of them said, you know, we can't pretend that money doesn't alleviate problems that, of course, if you don't have money, you can't have a life together. That's true. But I disagree when he said the more money you have, the more attention you get. Yes, you get a lot of attention, but the wrong kind of attention.
So if I rely on that to draw people's attention, a woman's attention, then what does that tell about me, right? Where's my confidence, my manhood, and other qualities, attributes that I may have?
Absolutely.
Am I right, darling? And then, ladies, so...
Now it's time for the truth.
Yeah, what about you now? What do you look for in a man?
When I was single, I normally look for someone commitment and responsible. And I saw that in Paulo. He was like very responsible, take responsibilities, and he assumed everything. So I just look, interesting.
Coming from the Caribbean, you know, sometimes we could be so flirtatious, and that is one thing that I don't appreciate. So I do appreciate someone who has a goal, a purpose in life, who knows what they want. I love a sense of humor.
On top of my list, when I was looking for my husband, I looked for a man who feared God. Because I've dated before in the world, I dated before outside, and what I used to get is all the cheating and lies and everything. But I knew one thing: when a man fears God, he cannot cheat on you. Because if he cheats on you, he cheats on God.
But for me, being faithful is the number one. Must be faithful, must be honest.
One more, anything else?
I think that's it. I'll keep it simple.
Okay, all right. So you unveil when you meet the guy, right?
Yes.
So I think women, one of the things, one of the main things women look for in a man is this: do you feel safe with him? Is he going to be by your side? Is he honest? So you see, by that, many other things come: honesty, sincerity, care.
And that can't be based on words only. Just as the guy said, words must be followed by actions.
When we were very close to start to decide, okay, let's start dating then, let's go to the next step, this guy over here meets me, and then he says, I want to show you something. And let me remind you, we were not dating yet. And he shows me a little box, and inside that box were these rings that you see. At that moment, it was practically a proposal, although we were not dating. I could see things that the ladies here said, commitment. So in other words, he said, I want to be with you. If this works, I want to be with you, I want to marry you. So that seriousness, not only in appearance, but also in attitude. And the more I got to know you, I felt safe, you know, that we would go through problems as everybody does, but he would stay with me. So I think women, one of the things, one of the main things women look for in a man is this: do you feel safe with him? Is he going to be by your side? Is he honest? So you see, by that, many other things come: honesty, sincerity, care.
And that can't be based on words only. Just as the guy said, words must be followed by action. So, okay, a guy may say whatever he wants, whatever comes up in his mind. But what about his actions? His actions will speak a lot. Like you said, you know, a simple action, a simple act of responsibility, seriousness, draw your attention. So, and that's pretty much what women, besides many other things, look for in a man, right?
So there you go.
So there you go.
Not complicated.
So I'm sure a few of you out there are glad to know that it's not about money and it's more about security. Well, we're going to go for a very quick break right now, but before we do, we're going to give you a few dating ideas. So here are our favourite moments from Trip for Two.
3, 2, 1, via!
Here we go.
Now for the farewell pizza of our date for Trip for Two.
Panotti, is that right? Panozzo.
Welcome again to Trip for Two. We're here at North London Music Academy and we're going to be learning to play the ukulele today.
Oh, what a hard job. It's a terrible job. So
I tell you, Trip for Two is such a sacrifice for us. I don't know if I'm going to do it next time.
It's like a mini guitar, but it looks really more exciting, to be honest.
Perfect. So, let's try and get you playing that together. 1, 2,
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But yours is ugly.
4,
mine
2.
Mine
But
looks like the.
I need to ask you for something in about this one. It's gonna be very
Look,
very
there's no almond here.
Of
But
course,
this
it's
one-
almond, and it's a ball.
It's very, very extraordinary. It is even more than anyone that you are.
All your Parmesan is falling. Give me a piece of yours. Thank you.
I think it's a great idea for dates. You know, you can learn something new together. She keeps saying that I've got a musical background, but I've never played a ukulele until today.
The good thing about this date is that you get your man to cook for you, which he never does, and you enjoy eating afterwards.
Yes.
All right, you're gonna smash it.
Smash it.
Yeah, if it doesn't go.
This is it, guys. So,
Trip for two.
trip for 2.
Excellent choice.
Excellent choice. Excellent. Hello everyone, we are here to invite you to our Love Talk seminars every Thursday at 8 p.m. on the address that you can see here at the bottom of your screen. You can also find more details on our website, lovetalkshow.tv. You find events throughout the year. They are all free, where you're going to learn a lot about relationships. Singles and couples are invited. Our desire is to share with you a little bit of what we've been through, and also, help you with prayers, with advice, with counseling, down-to-earth teachings in which will help you become a better man, a better woman, a better husband, a better wife, and see, better results of your investment when it comes to relationships. Okay, every Thursday, 8 p.m., Love Talk Live on this address here that you see at the bottom of your screen.
Hi, and welcome back to our very special Love Talk Highlight Show of the Year. So over the last year, Love Talk has helped countless singles and couples learn to love intelligently. But don't take our word for it. Here we have a few people telling us what they learned.
So what did I change? What do you think that I changed going to the seminars?
I could see that she started improving on her appearance, the way she dresses, and the way she carried herself was much more better.
The changes that I've seen in Yuki is that, number one, you don't drink anymore. And number two, you're not that proud, arrogant person that you used to be.
Me, even though I was in a good place when I started attending the seminars, there's always things inside of you that are either off or, they're not relationship worthy, as they say. And it's like when I go to these sessions, I feel like I'm literally being picked apart and being put back in at the same time. We learn I've learned personally about confidence, not being afraid as well to be yourself, but being able to compromise. So for example, when I'm in a relationship, I'm sure I may see something in the person that may remind me of something in my past, but it's not for me to be scared and try and self-sabotage it. Again, it's to work through it because, it's going to be a lifelong thing. So that's why I learn.
I think that people should definitely come to events hosted by Love Talk and the Love Talk team, because I think people, in these events, you learn how to open up. In these events, you learn how to overcome whatever social barriers that you may have. You learn how to overcome, the conflicts that you have in your love life, whether it happened in past relationships, whether it's, insecurities that people may have. And with these events, they teach you how to, not only overcome those, but, how you can open yourself up and allow yourself to love again.
I'm so happy that you changed because of the Love Talk, is your perfection. Like, it was too much. And obviously, I understand you are a perfectionist,
But in the relationship, I feel like you just need to relax a little bit, and I'm happy that you did. And it helped because I'm thinking, if you were like that when we're married, I don't know how I would, I don't know how we would cope.
It's really good because a lot of people might think that even being married for nearly 35 years, you know, they think, well, that's it. But it doesn't mean that, you know, we've been married for so long, you know. The good thing is we're still having fun.
For me, the fire is still there.
I had a lot of complex traumas inside of me, and with the Love Talk, I had the opportunity just to open myself and to start taking care of my insides. And now this is a reflection of my outsides. And even though before I didn't believe in myself, I think, why should this person look at me? Why should this person, you know, like want to know me? What do I have special? I was like that before. But after doing part of the Love Talk seminar, you know, it being every Thursday, doing everything that we are learned to do, I'm a different person now, yeah, and I can say I'm ready for a relationship. And the Love Talk is definitely changed my mind of, yeah, what is a relationship?
James, how do you think we overcame the whole cancer thing?
I think we overcame it from literally sticking together. I've always been strong-minded that whatever I go through, I'll soldier it and just overcome it. But it was good to also have the additional help from my wife.
Going to the seminars, you know, being there, it's like a constant evolution, and what you learn there is actually something that you can use, and you see the results immediately.
You know, what I've learned from the seminars is that I actually need to work on myself, and oh boy, I really need to work on myself because I didn't know anything. I literally didn't know anything. Everything that I have in terms of relationships before attending the service was just negative and bad, whereas now I'm starting to learn that, you know, I need to change. I need to change my perception and also change you know, what I see in a relationship, because before it was just like, oh, you know, what's the point? I'm just going to fight all the time, save myself a headache. Whereas now I'm like actually positive and actually open-minded to even attend this event was actually quite a big thing for me as well.
I'm really glad and grateful for the Love Talk Live, because without that, I don't know where we'd been today with our marriage.
So I think it's safe to say that Love Talk has managed to save quite a few couples. But regardless of how many obstacles you overcome, there's always going to be little things that annoy you about your partner. So let's go back and see the most common 3 most annoying things.
I would call it organized mess, to be left as it is, because I know where everything is, and then I dread when she cleans.
She's a very clean person, and just like sometimes you kind of eat a meal and, you know, you just want to like put the plates in the sink and go back and carry on relaxing, but she wants to clean up.
Every time there's something, she has to always clean it. So even if it's the bed, she's always picking something off the bed. She'll sit down, get back up 2 seconds later, picking off the bed again when there's nothing there.
She always chooses to clean the house, to mop the house, the time that she knows I'll pass by it.
Whenever we have dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever, she wants to wash the dishes at the right time we finish it, instead of just relaxing a bit and doing something else and then washing it a bit later. She just wants to do it immediately, so that's a bit annoying as well.
You've got out of bed, you need to go, but she said, you know, you need to dress the bed, and sometimes it's really, really annoying.
Wait a minute, did we hear this right? Men wanting their wives to clean less? So what did the women have to say?
He has an issue with being attentive.
We're sitting at the table, we're eating, and he will start his dinner and he will not look at me. He will just be eating like there's no one else around him. It's just his plate and that's it. And I keep saying, hello, I'm here.
Douglas, Douglas. And he's spaced out.
He gets distracted very easily. He has a tendency of talking to me and then getting distracted with something else, changing the subject.
Sometimes when I'm speaking to him and he's on his phone, it's complete blackout. He can't understand, he doesn't hear anything I've said, and then a few seconds later he'll be like, huh? and that gets on my nerves.
Sometimes when you ask his opinion, he doesn't say anything, and you have to keep asking him, well, are you going to answer, or are you going to say yes or no, or tell me what you think?
And he's like, okay. And in my mind, I know that he's not paying attention to me.
And after a while, huh? Were you calling me? Yes, I was calling you.
Well, sadly, our show's coming to an end now, but stay tuned for another year of learning to love intelligently. And for now, we'll leave you with some of the moments that didn't quite make the cut.
But this person is going through something very specific, and they'd like some guidance on how to approach a certain situation. So here's an opportunity. Questions at Love Talk Show. Sorry.
We have a blooper.
We have bloopers.
We want to know a little bit about you guys. How long you've been dating, how you met each other, and how things are going so far, right? Let's start with Bandy and Brainy. Brainy. Sorry about that. So as you can see, lots of things to do here are in this area. Yay! Again. Count. So as you can see, lots of things. Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. Sorry again. Go.
Stay with us. Stay with us because after the break, we're going to be interviewing Alex and Leah in our two-part show.
Sorry.
And now let's see the 3 most annoying things. And after the break, we will conclude today's topic. Stay with us. No, stay right now.
And my head kept.
You remember Rocky?
Where are we looking? I'm looking at the... What? It's you!
We're going to take a look at our newest Trip for Two. We will leave you with this week's Trip for Two, where Tapio and Yasmin had the chance to try out a free ukulele lesson, courtesy of the North London Music Academy. Let's take a look.
Okay.
That's good now, right?
Roger that. We would like you to visit our website. Let's take a look at this video.
It was the YouTube.
Oh, the YouTube. On the second part of our 2-part special. Sorry. No, we were talking about here just after the ba ba ba.
I got out. We're going to go with Tapio and Yasmin to North London Academy, where they had a very nice singing competition. Let's see how they did.
Lovely, but it was a singing lesson.
And that's Rapido. Amazing!
Let's go!
And that's all for today's Love Talk Show. Be sure to tune in next week to learn more on how to love intelligently.
This programme is brought to you by UCKG.